Okay, I'm going to try to finish part 3 of getting noticed. I don't know how long my voice is going to last, so let's try to finish part 3. Getting noticed, part 3, creating content with intention. This is the part of the book where we start getting into the nuts and bolts of how to get noticed. At this time, you should have a pretty good grasp on why you're doing what you're doing and what your intentions are for your product or service. You'll need to fall back on all of that as we start to actually craft content to present to potential customers. In this section, we're going to learn how to organize, plan, write, and schedule your posts. I hear a lot of people say they just don't know what to write on every single day. Fear not, you're going to have topics coming out of your ears after you understand this. One thing that you should understand before we move forward is that your content is going to take a lot of time. You'll have to schedule it into your day. If you're used to just posting on a whim when you have a few minutes, you're about to make some drastic changes to the way you do business. Your social media is a business tool, not just a way to tell your story. If you're smart, you'll use it as both, but you need to be strategic about it. That means spending more time preparing. There's that nasty word again. Organize. I find the posts that get a lot of traffic, be it on a blog or on social media, are the posts where you can entertain, inspire, or simply teach people something new. I love when I can learn a new tip or tidbit from an Instagram post as I'm scrolling through. I stop for them. Have you ever noticed what you stop for on social media? It's likely that the person writing the post has organized the content beforehand in order to make sure you saw it on that day. If you've followed me on social media for even a day, you've likely figured out that organization isn't something I was born to love. While I have to have a clean desk to work, keeping it that way is a challenge. When I say challenge, I really mean that my 6-year-old picks up better than I do. I'm lucky to have a husband because a good housewife I am not. I have to remind Michael that I'm good at other things, one of those things being business. See, it works. When it comes to social media and making the most of my efforts online, organization is key. You simply cannot just throw things out there without thought and effort and hope they make it. You need to be strategic about it. I lead a Facebook group in which I am very intentional about where and when and what I post. The point of the group is to teach leadership and entrepreneurship based on what I've learned and others have taken the time to teach me. I make sure to consistently show up and make myself available to the people in the group. Here are a few of the things I do to gather ideas and begin to organize the content that I will eventually share. You should be able to use this information to help you organize both social media posts and blog content. Step 1, make a secret Pinterest board. I find Pinterest is such an easy way to consolidate information from any place on the internet where I can access it from virtually anywhere. You can call it anything you want. Content ideas comes to mind, but if you want to call it Susan, that's fine too. Your board, your choice, I don't judge. Step 2, make a new folder in the Photos app on your phone. On the iPhone, click Photos, Albums, Plus, and then name that album whatever will work for you. If you're a momtrepreneur on the move like me, you have a lot of balls in the air at one time and you work a lot from your phone. This is a great way to screenshot content that you see around the internet that can be pinned. Hello, Insta and Snapchat and This is a great way to screenshot content that you see around the internet that can't be pinned. Hello, Insta, Snapchat, and Facebook. I call my folder Quotes and Content because I'm basically a genius. Step 3. Take some time each day to observe what your target market cares about. You can do this through pretty much any internet forum. Read blogs, scan Facebook, scroll Instagram, peruse Pinterest, read through Facebook groups you're a part of. What are they saying? What are they talking about? What is frustrating them? What needs do they have? What is exciting them? What's trending right now? What are you seeing that other people are doing really well? How can you incorporate their lessons into your own brand? I generally do this in the mornings because it's not an activity that takes a whole lot of concentration and thinking. Some of us are not our best in the morning times. When Michael tells my girls don't poke the bear before 9 a.m., it's because I'm likely to rip your face clean off if you ask me to do anything before coffee hits my side table. I'm not proud. Step 4, as you're observing, if you come across something that catches your eye that you think you could use to inspire content, put it either in your secret Pinterest board or screenshot it and put it in your phone folder. You might not write on it today, but you certainly could use it in the future when the "what can I write about today" question pops up. Step 5, repeat steps 4 and 5 at least a couple of times a week. I do it daily. Things change so fast. What you think is relevant today may not be in a month or two, so be consistent on this activity. Step 6, move on to the planning phase. Plan. Now that you have an abundance of content to craft into something your customers will want to read and engage with, it's time to move into the planning phase. In this phase, you're going to get out a calendar and actually plan out your content. I find it's really helpful to stick to one topic a few days in a row for a couple of reasons. First, it can be good for people to get information in smaller chunks as far as retention goes. You're going to learn later the importance of keeping things simple, short, and sweet, especially if you're talking about a post on Instagram or Facebook. When you break up what would normally be one post into smaller pieces, people are not only more likely to read what you write, but they're also more likely to retain the information. Second, your posts will get put into different people's feeds based on the algorithm of the platform you're using. By posting a few different times about the same thing, you'll have a better chance of more people seeing the content you're trying to serve up. For my business blog, I choose one day each month to create a theme or topic, and I have contributing writers submit posts about that certain topic from different viewpoints. Inviting other writers to share on your blog is a great way to give back to your community of local followers by sharing your platform with them. I also post motivational quotes or mini lessons about that topic on social media to help drive home the point or pique people's interest. This approach works when your service is education, but may not work as well as if you have a product you're trying to promote. Consider shorter stints on a certain topic for a product. Also, you could entertain the possibility of doing something consistently during different days of the week. For example, every Monday, you know that moms are likely trying to recover from the weekend at home with their kids. If your target market is moms, you could do a peek into your real life every Monday so other moms know they're not alone. Call it something catchy and very you, like Momtrepreneur Monday, and try to be consistent about posting. People need consistency to be on the lookout for what you post, especially if they know you're going to like the content. Especially if they know they're going to like the content. The trick is to make sure you plan out and write down what you need to post and when you're going to do it before you move on to the writing and scheduling portion. Write. For me, this is the most fun part because it means actually working and doing something rather than just planning on working one day in the near future. The reason I work at all is because I have this innate need to use my brain for something of substance and purpose each day. If I don't, I notice my mood shifts in the wrong direction, and I'll start to either pick fights or make bad choices to give my brain something to do. I'm basically the opposite of Jack from the movie The Shining. All play and no work makes Lindsay a dull girl. I know this makes me weird. I embrace the weird. Moving on. My business grew 100% from social media over the last 3 years, and I've learned the hard way what to do and what not to do. We're going to talk a lot more about how to write and what you should actually say, but here I want to give you a few #pro tips based on what I've learned in my years of using social media to not only grow a following, but also to sell a product. Tip number 1, create content based on what is inspiring you or what you learned in your online browsing. This may require you to do some research and read a little about your topic of choice, especially if you want to give some tips or educate your audience. I often like to see what's already written out there to make sure I'm being original in what I'm saying. I want to make sure I'm also adding value and not just regurgitating something people could find through a simple Google search. It doesn't really matter if you want to inspire, educate, or entertain. Make sure you do it in story form. Tip number 2, summarize your research and make the information Tip number 2, summarize your research and make the information applicable to your target market. Make sure they have a takeaway they can actually implement. If you're writing something inspirational, make sure it has an action attached. We can't just tell people, you're great, you're enough, hope you feel good. You have to give them actionable steps or else they'll forget what you said in mere minutes. Tip number 3, be detailed. If you're giving step-by-step instructions, this is especially important or people will flood you with 5,000 of the same exact question and then you'll be forced to start drinking wine at an inappropriate time of day and your family will judge you. Just be detailed. Tip number 4, don't use 20 words where 2 will do. Don't waste people's time. Get in and get out. Have a point to every sentence and don't worry so much about how people will interpret your writing. Someone will hate everything you write, so just embrace it. Did you know that Facebook posts with less than 81 words get 60% more engagement? Keep it simple. Tip number 5, embrace your you-ness. Write like you talk. Make your posts controversial so your audience can hear your voice. Not controversial. Sorry. Tip number 5, embrace your you-ness. Write like you talk. Make your posts conversational so your audience can hear your voice as they read your words. They'll stay around longer if it doesn't feel like a computer talking. They'll also trust you a little more if you talk about your product in your own words rather than some cheesy sales voice you think you're supposed to use. Tip number 6, make your regulars your priority. I read the comments about 99% of the time after I write something. I try to respond if I can. I have a friend, Carrie Colbert, who is excellent at responding to her Instagram comments on her Where Well feed. She does a great job making the people who take the time to comment feel special. Try to take note of everyone who is interacting with you so you can make those people a priority when it comes to your time. Tip number 7, I want people to know I see them when they interact on my posts. So on Facebook, I like each post after I read them so they know I saw their words and effort to connect. Tip number 8, there are some internet experts who will tell you to do a 70-30 split on your promotions on social media, meaning 70% of your content is engaging readers and 30% is promotion of your product. I think that's way high. I don't stick around for the 70% if 30% is about sales. I personally stick to 80-20 at a minimum, and I'd suggest aiming for 90-10. I really do think your content needs to be more engaging than it needs to be about sales. Tip number 9, make it prettier, a picture every single time. No exception. Schedule. The point of scheduling social media posts is to keep you moving forward. It's about having something written in advance and posting on the day you've scheduled it for. The reason I would even ask you to do something like this is for one reason and one reason only: consistency. If you want regular followers, you're going to need to be posting on the regular. When you go radio silent for weeks at a time, then come back to 10 posts a day, people get whiplash and they'll miss so much. Give people a little bit of your brand every single day so your product is fresh on their mind when they finally decide today is the day they need it. I just have to stop here and say this is my biggest struggle with my Facebook group. Like for my customers, I am not consistent and I know it hurts my business. On the weeks that I post every single day, I get so much more interaction. So I just want to read that again. If you want regular followers, you're going to need to be posting on the regular. When you go radio silent for weeks at a time and then come back to 10 posts a day, people get whiplash and they'll miss so much. Give people a little bit of your brand every single day so your product is fresh on their mind when they finally decide today is the day they need it. Let me give you an example of a time this worked for another company where I was the consumer. Hello Apparel, www.hellomerch.com. Who doesn't love their stuff? I think it's adorable, but I'm hesitant to buy t-shirts online because I only like the softest kinds of t-shirts. I'm like the worst kind of t-shirt snob. If it itches, I'll throw it away. If I order an XL and you send me something that would fit on my infant daughter, I'll curse you and then throw it away. Clearly, I've been burned a time or two in the t-shirt department. Hello is really good at their social media timing and consistency. One morning they posted the rainbow t-shirt I had been looking at for months, and it was just the right time for me to buy that particular morning. I had to see it multiple times in my feed to finally decide to click buy. Read that again. I had to see it multiple times in my feed to finally decide to click buy. Make sure you're consistent when you post, because you never know when it's going to be the day to click on the buy button for someone who has seen your product many times before. P.S. The Hello tees are amazingly soft and comfy. Lindsay approved. There are many really convenient ways to schedule your posts. One is through an ancient and forgotten practice called writing it on a calendar. It's a dinosaur, but it works. The great thing about your digital calendar is that it will, in theory, sync to all of your devices so you'll have access to the schedule at any time. Apparently, having a planner is cool again, so you could always use one of those as well if the calendar is too small or you're into handwriting your ideas out. Plus, when you use a planner, there's a good chance you'll get to also use washi tape. Is that how you say it? Washi or washi tape? And that's a win. Finally, there are some apps that will help you not only schedule what you'll be writing about, but they'll actually go and physically push your content onto your desired platform of choice at the time you wish for it to be posted. It's like magic. A little word of warning. I find there are some in my line of work that are super passionate about intentionally ignoring posts that are put onto Facebook through an automated system. I can't say I understand it, but to each his own. Here are some apps for you to look into if you need help scheduling and posting your content. I'm not going to give you a lot of in-depth pricing information about them because by the time you read this, there's a good chance they've gotten an update. Do some research on the different options to find out which one is right for your business and budget at this time. And she lists Hootsuite, Buffer, Sprout Social, Viral Heat, Social Oomph, TweetDeck, Sprinkler, Social Pilot, Send Social Media, Salesforce Marketing Cloud. I can't believe she didn't mention Tiny Torch. I love that one. I'll post this list at the bottom. And that's the end of part 3. So thanks for hanging in with me. And I will not do another part today because I think my voice is about to give out. So hopefully this is helpful. And I'll see you next time. Thanks.